Hi guys, and today I wanted to say a little bit about the one reason, the big reason, the main reason why I'm not playing World of Tanks anymore. Or so much anyway. And there's a whole host of reasons, which is why to make the game just not enjoyable to me anymore. I'm playing it now and I'm kind of thinking, I'm wasting my time here. This is not fun. I'm not gaining anything out of it. I'm not learning anything. I'm not improving myself as a person. It's just the same point and click exercise. It's not even OP tanks like this here down at low tier. The FCM pack 30, FCM 36 pack 40 with its gun and its view range, which means it just decimates at tiers 3 and 4. And it's always played by seal clubbers. Yeah, guilty. It's not even things like that. It's not the fact that grinding your way up to say like 100% crew skill takes forever and it's painful and it's annoying and it's designed to just basically like take your money from you. They want you to spend money clearly. I don't entirely blame Wargaming for that. So no, there's other reasons, and we're going to have a look at them in this video. So reason number one that it could be, but it isn't, is the incredibly salty and nasty player base that is on World of Tanks. I mean, don't get me wrong, most people who play World of Tanks are great, or at least just fairly normal people. However, there are plenty of just nasty pieces of work who, whether you die, or whether you kill them, sorry, or whether you don't go exactly where they think that you should be at a particular time, and they get particularly aggressive about that. And they send you like messages like this, for example. So I got this after killing a guy in a battle, an enemy player, I hasten to add. So, fuck off, you low-life white trash council estate trash! Which I smiled at. I don't know what the EFGHIJK meant. I don't quite understand the point of that. So I asked him what's wrong with being white and what's wrong with living on a council estate. And his response was, "Trash lives on council estates! I'm white and question mark." So I asked him if he's okay. Sounds like he's got some issues going on. "Only a freak would name him, her, your sister's panties." So I say, "I'm glad you like my name." "Not at all, that." Don't know what that means. "Guessed it right. Council estate, bleep. Sorry, no sisters, no mother, no father. Just go and bleep, you low-life bleep." So I offer him some help and advice, because I like to string him along for a bit and say some things to wind them up. But then after a little bit of that, I go, "Look, come on, calm down. It's only a game. Relax. It's only a game." So no, it's not even that World of Tanks is full of these kind of people. That makes it the worst thing for me. So let's move on and have a look at another thing it could be. And reason number two, it's not. It's not even the massively corridory maps. So for example here on Abbey, it looks like it's a nice big open map. But in fact, there are basically two ways you can go. You can either go down the 1 line, down here, or you can go down the 8 line, down here. There's a little bit that you can do in the middle here as well, although that's quite risky. But if you try and go down here, for example, you'll get killed. If you try and go down here, it's not particularly useful. So, you know, it looks like a big open map, but it's not. It doesn't give you the tactical flexibility that you get in War Thunder. So that's a reason, but it's still not my main reason. Reason number 4 that it could be, but isn't, is things like Arty, which we'll see causing me some issues in a minute, and the fact that you can be having a good game and then somebody who's invisible because they've got better crew skills is shooting at you and destroying you. Like that M5A1 Stuart there, he must have felt horrible because he didn't know where the hell I was. Nothing spotted. There we go about Arty, could just get in the way of the games. The M5A1 didn't know I was there, couldn't see me. I've got good crew, good camo, good spotting, and so I spotted him and was shooting him. That was so irritating, that invisible being killed by an invisible enemy. So that was reason number 4. It could be, but isn't. Reason number 5 is the fact that you can't be having a great game, like at the moment here, and everything seems to be going alright and going well. And I've got 206 hit points. I know I can take this M3 Lee, especially because he's turning around, so he's auto aim. First shot misses, never mind. Dodge a few shots, yeah, going well, including the RT again. Take out the M3 Lee, and then take one shot, and before I can actually do anything to save myself, take a second shot, and I'm dead. So you can very quickly, against invisible enemies, camping in bushes, get wrecked. So that's a spotting mechanic. So the spotting mechanics are really shit, I think. And I'll come on to that. Well, I understand why they're there, but it does mean that you can have somebody who's spent ages on the game, and they've got like 7 crew skills and whatever, and they've got brother in arms in their scout tank, they've got camouflage maxed, they've got situational awareness and recon, and they've got binoculars or the coated optics, and they can just see you from a mile off and lay waste to you, which is not very much fun. So that's reason number 4. Reason number 5 that it could be but isn't is things like tanks like the Conqueror, which in certain situations can be useful, but in far too many it just finds itself getting annihilated, even by tanks that are a tier or even 2 tiers below it. Combination of weak frontal armour, massive weak spot on the top, and just a fairly decent gun. I'll give it that, it's a fairly decent gun. But in a lot of situations on a lot of maps, unless you can go hull down and hide this entire hull, and then still be at a range to make sure that the enemy can't reliably hit your weak spot here, the tank's useless. And it feels like, and I've read a lot about the British light tanks, are also useless. So it seems, I don't know, maybe there's a bit of anti-British agenda from the people who are making these. Maybe they just don't love the British tanks too much, don't really care about them, so kind of just push them out and go, yeah, that'll do. So that could be it. Reason number 6 now that it isn't, is the way they love, and this you can see it's Days of Rental 6, the way they keep loving smashing premium tanks out at the moment. It seems to be the main objective of World of Tanks is to get, and Wargaming, is to get as much money as possible by releasing a new premium tank every couple of weeks, and it just gets boring. It's like, woo, another new tank, oh yeah, okay, fantastic, yeah, what they do. And obviously I've got a few premiums here, but irritating. And moving on, the reason number 6 is when you have a look at some of the premium tanks, and they're not up here for a good reason, but the Russians, for example, have the Defender, okay, which is basically a overpowered Russian heavy tank at tier 8, and things like that. You play against that, you come up against it, and you think, oh, what's the fucking point? I may as well just quit the game, because I've come head to head with that tank. I can't penetrate it, it can penetrate me, it can do a lot of damage with its shots, I can't outmaneuver it because I'm in a heavy tank as well, and it's just so far superior to my tier 8 tank, so for example the Carnarvon, that I may as well just press escape, go back to garage and take the desertion penalty, because I'm not going to have any fun playing against that. But here, this is the real thing that really annoys me. It's the RNG. So, shot misses, not fully aimed. Okay, you got the aiming circle, but the fire hit does the maximum damage. Obviously, or very high damage, which is what I want. Get here to safety. Fire the shot. It somehow misses, although fully aimed and at close range. So he's dodging back and forth. Fire the next one. It's high explosive. What do you mean it didn't penetrate? It didn't go through. It didn't hit him on his track either. Hit just above. Next shot somehow misses. Inconceivably. Then I start to take fire. Aim at this guy. Pull the trigger. And again, it misses. It doesn't go anywhere near where it was pointing. That is the thing that frustrates me the most about World of Tanks. The game is so heavily reliant on the RNG, the random number generator, to decide whether you hit or whether you penetrate. And in games when it goes against you, it's massively, game-breakingly frustrating. Where it goes in your favour and everything seems to pull off, at the time you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool, but afterwards it kind of feels cheap. It feels like, you know, you've typed in the God mode cheats and you've won by essentially not your own skill, but by the luck of the draw, the luck of the numbers. War Thunder isn't like that. So what makes the War Thunder superior then? Well, we don't have the trolls in the same way. You can see here on this map in this game, there are multiple spots to win. You have a little ticker that runs down throughout the game, so it's not just based on who captures the flag or who kills everyone first. So it adds a bit more flexibility. The maps are genuinely more open. You can see they've got roads and they're definitely the way through the valleys here. But you can mix it and match it. You can go different routes without being blown to shit by the enemy team straight away. So there's more flexibility. RNG is non-existent, okay, or relatively non-existent. You point your gun in a direction, the shot fires off more or less there. Yes, at distance you're going to struggle to hit the weak spots on the crew. But that's in part because you don't have like a million times zoom mods, which you can get in World of Tanks. In fact, now is there in World of Tanks, so you can't pick your spot on the enemy tank and hit them directly. So you've got a little bit of leeway, but you're going to hit the tank. If you're pointed at the tank, you're going to hit the tank. But some of the other things I like about it, in a realistic battle, you've got to calculate the shell drop yourself. In arcade battle, it does it for you. And in realistic battle, you've actually physically got to spot the enemy tanks. Okay, there's no good waiting for a little flashy light to appear above them to give away their position, and that makes the game so much more fun. Because all of a sudden, when you're driving around, you've got to keep your wits about you. In World of Tanks, half the time I drive forwards and I just switch off. Yeah, in fact, I put the tank on autopilot and go and look at my phone or read a tab or something like that, check on my Facebook account. I don't need to pay attention. In War Thunder, I do. So, little summary. Loads of bad things about World of Tanks, but what really gets me is the stupid RNG. A close second would be the fact that the spotting mechanism sucks balls. It's really frustrating being killed by Invisi tanks, and you know, it just shouldn't happen really. It's just a bit of a daft way to do it. It's another way for them to try and exploit you for money, I think. Obviously, all these games are freemium, and South Park did a great freemium isn't really free thing, and it's, you know, it's important, I think, as well to was there a tank there? I think it's important to support these games, but World of Tanks just seems to be trying to cause you so much frustration that you spend money on the game, which is exactly the freemium isn't free model that South Park had, or took the mick out of. And here is that clip from South Park about freemium games, which explains perfectly my frustration with World of Tanks. And just because I'm using this clip, I'm just saying fair usage because it's, you know, used for satire, educational purposes, that stuff, blah 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 blah. Also, go watch South Park, brilliant.
Allow me to explain the science behind micropay freemium gaming. With mobile apps, we now have the ability to make games that are boring and stupid.
Yep, that's World of Tanks.
If you pay for incentives, you're rewarded. Freemium. The meum is Latin for not really. It's a simple cycle, a never-ending loop based on RPGs. Those just use the concept of XP or experience points. We've introduced the idea of micro-paying with money.
And that's the thing about World of Tanks, isn't it? You get something like a tier 8 tank, and when you get it in its stock, it's unplayable, more or less. You know, you need that top gun to make the tank viable in the game in order to get anywhere. And so therefore the temptation is spend a bit of cash. Okay, so yeah, spend the cash, get the upgraded gun using the free experience. I mean, it's not something I do. I try not to spend any money on World of Tanks these days, despite the fact I've got a load of premium tanks here. Yeah, yeah, and it's just very frustrating. It doesn't feel that way in War Thunder, though. Yes, sure, the tanks are stock to a degree, but the improvements are minor. Things like the turret will traverse a little bit quicker, or the shots will be slightly more accurate. They're pretty accurate anyway. Or things like you can get the ammunition that's got the better penetration values. But it doesn't feel like you need to spend the money to improve your tanks. So, better ways of doing it. It's just not fun either. You know, the fact the maps are all corridor, you're reliant on RNG. Every game is exactly the same, whereas in War Thunder, because you can go different places and explore different things. Can I get him? Can I get him? Can I get him? Come on. Oh no, that was bad. There we go, got him there. Because the game is allows you a bit more flexibility, it gives you a bit more variety in your gameplay. The different tanks, they're all useful on the different maps. Whereas in World of Tanks, if I'm playing a Churchill and it's a hilly map that's open, I'm fucked. Because I've got no gun depression. And I've got no manoeuvrability. And vulnerable armour from the sides. So, yeah. War Thunder's just a much more fun game. Realistic battles are definitely the way forwards. I don't think I can really go back to World of Tanks anymore. It's just a lot more fun. So my recommendation would be to play realistic battles on War Thunder. Don't go in there straight away and expect to be great, even if you've been good at World of Tanks, because you've got a lot to get used to. You've got to get used to the idea that the enemy is not going to have a marker above them, so you're going to have to actually see them. At a distance, you're going to have to figure out how much your shell is going to drop and take that into account when aiming your shot. You can't just point your cursor at someone who's far away and expect to hit them. Yeah, bushfucker. So, you know, it's not the perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. There are flaws in War Thunder. There are OP tanks. I'm pretty much playing one right now, the T-28, whereas it's kind of sucks balls at World of Tanks unless you play it right. In War Thunder, the gun is just ridiculous. With certainly these upgraded shells can basically one-shot everything, and I'm not sure that was the case historically. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Are these things any good about World of Tanks? Should I return to World of Tanks? Should I give it another go? Is my problem that I'm not playing many platoons these days with World of Tanks? Or is that the way I should go? I should go down the social route. Let me know what you think. And I'd love to see you on War Thunder. I'm playing some War Thunder because it's just a really exciting game, as you can see here. I'm constantly looking around. I reckon that's probably about 400 meters. No, slightly more. Oh, and there I get shot. Ammunition rack exploded by somebody I couldn't see. But you know, that's fine. It doesn't feel bad in War Thunder. You just jump back in another tank and you're off at it again. Alright, take care guys. See you later.